Alamin. Thank you, Aziz, for the beautiful recitation. May our event today run smoothly and be blessed. Right, I'm sure everyone's pumped to listen to the presentations of the day. Without wasting any more of our time, let's invite the first group of the day from UIN Alauddin to present their community engagement idea for the day. I would like to also remind you that your group has 30 minutes to present your idea, and without further ado, the screen is yours.
Hello? Balu.
Test. Your voice clear?
Yes.
Yes. The Honorable all of the lecturers and students of UITM Johor, Malaysia. The Honorable all of the lecturers and students UIN Alauddin Makassar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has been giving us some mercy and blessing so we can continue our agenda today. And don't forget send salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam who has guided us from the darkness to the darkness. And now, I'm Mursida, students of English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar. And now I want to explain the topic. Our agenda is briefing the English teachers at Islamic Junior High School about gender representation in EFL textbook. We can see the first slide, it is location. The location of this event was MTS Mani Papua Goa. The reason why we chose this location is due to accessibility and availability of the school, since it is an Islamic Lab Junior High School under Tarbiyah Faculty of UIN Alauddin's affiliation. The next is resources person. In this event, resource person in this event are the first is Profesor Dr. Randa Hajah Siti Aziza NPD ST PhD as the head of English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar. And the second is Dr. Siti Nurfahmi SPD MPD as the Secretary of English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar. And the third is Ratu Faradila Faharuddin as the students of English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar. And the last is Miss Mursida as the students of English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar. What about the participants in this event? The participant is, the first is Miss Fatmawati SPD as the English teacher of the first and the third grade. And the second is Miss Rugaya as the SPD as the English teacher of the second grade. The next point will be explained by my partner, Ratu Faradillah. For Ratu Faradillah, 10 yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Mursida. My name is Ratu Faradillah Faharuddin. We are under the same team of this gender representation briefing. Okay, the purpose of this event is to raise awareness among English teachers about the importance of gender representation in EFL textbook teaching materials. Then maybe some of you ask, why this kind of issue matters? Why we need to conduct this kind of event? Okay, so actually, many studies have proved that there are imbalanced gender representation in EFL textbook. Studies on gender representation have shown implicit gender bias in EFL textbook, which women are often underrepresented and men are overly represented. Then how would it affect students' mindset? Actually, students, including girls who grow up with such underrepresentation of women in EFL textbook, would eventually develop a mentality that men are better, are powerful, and superior than women. This kind of underrepresentation of women would eventually create a false reality surrounding perceptions of women and hinder the process of ensuring equality to all human beings. Okay, how English teachers of MTS Madani Papua as our location view this issue. After our observation, we found out that this issue, this gender represent topic is new to them. They are unaware about this kind of issue happening in textbooks they use as teaching materials. So the previous situation would be they are unaware. And what we set as our ideal situation is that for them to become aware and thoughtful in choosing textbook as their teaching materials after this event was taken. We hope that they took our agenda into account, into considering what best for them to choose textbook as their teaching materials that does not contain any imbalance in their representation at all. Okay, the methods of our agenda will be explained by my partner, Mursida. Mursida, please, time is yours.
Well, I want to explain about the method in this event. Actually, there are 4 steps in conducting this event. These are observation, planning, execution, and document analysis. The first is observation. Observation, we went to the school to observe, to collect information about the school, including with the lecture, the English teacher, and etc. And the second is planning. After observation, we discuss with our lecturers about information we get from observation. And the third is execution. Execution, it is the main agenda where we went to the school with our lectures to discuss with the English teacher at MTS Madani Papua Goa to raise awareness about gender representation in EFL textbook. And the last step is document analysis. We analyze the textbook as the teaching materials, as well as given them explanation about this analysis, the analysis. What about the implementation of this event? The event took setting a free-flowing conversation where teachers are free to ask any question anytime, and then the expert explained about gender, sex, gender equality manifestation, and how they also manifest in EFL textbook. And next is the English teacher at MTS Madani Papua Goa provides their textbook use as teaching materials to be analyzed, and then the textbook are analyzed and explained to the teacher. And explanation includes is is one gender being underrepresented or overly represented. Oh, sorry. Represented in the materials, and the second is how would it affect students' mindset. The next is about example on this event will be explained by my partner Ratu Faradila. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for the chance. At the chance, we would like to show you a brief explanation, a brief exposure about what kind of imbalanced gender representation that we mentioned before. So in here, you could see that those two pictures are taken from the textbook, which the first picture is a male chef or a professional cook. And the pictures beside it is a mother and daughter cooking in a housewife. Do you see the pattern in here? They are representing the same activity. They are cooking or either baking, but the difference is the male portrayed is as a professional cook in a professional kitchen, while the women who is portrayed cooking and or baking is portrayed in a house kitchen. This indicates that the same activity portrayed by male is somehow is considered as superior than the one portrayed by women, ladies and gentlemen. And the next examples of imbalanced gender representation, the first picture you could see, it is a traditional value they bring in this first picture, which men are sit down at the table waiting to be served by women. This is a very traditional gender roles that is still available in nowadays textbook, ladies and gentlemen. And the next picture is you could see in here a boy talking about women's duty to wash the dishes. Note that in this textbook, no ever portrayals of men serving women or men preparing food for family to eat is portrayed, and also no portrayals of men doing or being related to domestic work in this textbook is ever portrayed. All of this kind of representation of domestic work like washing dishes, preparing the food for family to eat, cooking, and etc. is only portrayed, is only represented by women, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but then there is also a good examples of gender representation. These pictures is taken from another book, but it is also a textbook used as English teaching materials at MTS Madani Papua. Okay, I forgot before that the previous textbook is taken from a textbook used as English teaching materials at the second grade entitled Write an English Course. And in here, it is taken from a textbook entitled When English Rings a Bell. It is under production of our Ministry Education, Culture and Technology or Kemendikbud. Nah, this is the kinds of good examples of gender representation. The first picture, you could see a boy helping his mom in the kitchen. And the second picture is a boy or a son helps his mom to prepare the family to eat. Now, this is the kind of good examples of gender representation that we want to bring, where no domestic work is assigned to women only. This indicates that the author want to show to us that not only doctor or family member or female family member is responsible for domestic work, but also son and male family member also. And the next pictures, there are two pictures of female and male students are working together to clean their classroom. Note that in here they all take part, they all participated in cleaning the classroom. No specific cleaning skill is assigned to either female or male. They are equally represented in cleaning the classroom. This is the kind of good examples of gender representation in EFL textbook. By showing teachers of MTS Madani Papua the good examples and also the imbalanced gender representation in EFL textbook, we want to show them that you could choose what's best for you to use at the classroom. You could choose the value you want to teach your students about gender. Okay, so the output of this event is that we could finally conclude that the teachers finally aware about the importance of gender representation in choosing textbook as teaching materials, so that then the teachers would put careful and thoughtful process in choosing textbooks as their teaching materials to avoid exposing students with any imbalanced gender representation. I think that's all. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. We are very excited to share our thoughts with you about this. So maybe a questions or two is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you to the first group, Ramya and Alauddin. I hope the teachers at MTS Madani Papua Goa are now aware of the importance of the gender representation in EFL book. And we hope that with this project, some actions will be taken. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to proceed the event with the Q&A session. If you have any questions, you could switch on your microphone or write your questions in the chat box. Don't hesitate to ask any questions if you have.
Any question, guys, or is it clear already?
I think if there is no question, we will proceed the event. If you have any questions for the previous group, you can ask away in the chat box, and maybe the previous group can also answer in the chat box as well. So now we will welcome the second group of the day, which is the third and last group from UITM Johor to present their community engagement idea. Just a friendly reminder to the presenters, like the first group earlier, your group has 30 minutes as well to present your idea, and the screen is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum to the presenters, lecturers, as well as the audience presented on our last day of the International E-Seminar on Community Engagement Practices and Ideas involving UITM Cawangan Johor LG120 students and the final semester students from the English Education Department of Universitas Islamic UI and Alauddin Makassar, Indonesia. Allow me to introduce myself. So my name is Iza, and my classmates and I are the Part 5 students from the class JLG1205C, UITM Cawangan Johor, and we are very delighted to be presenting the details of our program, Let's Blossom with English, conducted by the 23 of us for our community engagement course. So I shall pass on the first presentation to my teammate Iman Erdina from the management team to continue with introducing the program.
All right, Assalamualaikum and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Iman Erdina, and I will be taking over the floor as we will be presenting our portion of the project, which is titled Let's Blossom with English. And because you might be wondering what we plan to do as a collective, let me first give you some background information about the community service affiliate that we plan to work with. Introducing Pertubuhan Kebajikan Anak-Anak Yatim Islam Daerah Segamat, or better known as PBI-FTK, which is a non-governmental organization that aims to provide a convenient place for the orphans with the amenities they need, including daily food preparation, a study space, a library, a mini mosque, a hall, outdoor activities, administration office, and staff accommodation. Our project is a hand-in-glove effort with this organization to train young individuals in heightening their English skills. So moving forward to the next slide, here is the location of the orphanage in Segamat. For your information, Segamat is a town located in the Segamat district of Johor in Malaysia. And this place is only 10 kilometers away from our university, UITM Segamat, making it exceptionally near and convenient for us to travel there. For this matter, we have done a site visit to gather the information needed. Next slide. So we have prepared a video of a brief tour in PBI-FTK to let all of you get a visual gist of how the location looks like. So let us all watch it together, shall we? All right. So on the 18th of October, we went to Pacayas to do a site visit to find suitable areas to conduct the games that would be conducted during the program, which are crossword puzzle, pass the parcel, and treasure hunt. Based on the first picture, we chose to do our treasure hunt activity at the parking area and canteen area of the orphanage, as we didn't want the kids to be confined in tight spaces, as we want them to be able to run freely to each checkpoints that were conducted by the treasure hunt team. For the second picture, it is the main hall at Pacayas, which is the main area where most of the activities were conducted, such as registration, opening speech, games by other groups like crossword puzzle, and prize giving ceremony. We chose the main hall to do most of the activities as there is a sound system, speaker, and microphone provided, which is very important for the program. Okay, so here is the proof of site visit from the management team and the group leader. Very happy faces, very delighted to be there. All right, moving on to the program details. The date of the Let's Blossom with English program was commenced on Friday, 2nd of December 2022. This program is created to allow students from the orphanage to improve their English proficiency in terms of their vocabulary, grammar, and speaking skills by engaging in entertainment through playing outdoor games. All right, so what is the objective? Next slide. The objective of the program is to strengthen and boost up the confidence among 53 children of Pertubuhan Kebajikan Anak-Anak Yatim Islam Daerah Segamat in conversing English as their second language confidently. So now we will move on to the paperwork part of the project. So I will now pass the presentation back to Isa. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Dina. So next is the detail of the paperwork. So we specify these two main purposes of our program in the paperwork to highlight the goals of Let's Blossom with English event. So the first one is to exhibit excellent communication skills when engaging with the community for professional development. So this is because the experience we gain from managing this program independently, from planning to the execution, just help us in taking the first step in communicating professionally with not only with the Pacayas management in retrieving the necessary information, but also other parties as well, including the UITM academic affair, food vendors, as well as the bus driver. And next is to advocate language proficiency for children through their participation in English language activities. So we believe that the children will grasp information better through fun activities conducted, prepared by all of us, as they do not feel as forceful as they would be learning in their second language at the school settings, because this interesting approach will stimulate them, their interest and also their competitiveness to win the games that eventually will lead them to do their best in playing all of the games covering the aspect of grammar, vocabulary, as well as their confidence in interacting in English. Okay, next, as for the budgeting part, so we intend to maximize the utilization of the funds acquired to cover the full, the entire expenses from the thorough preparation of the list detailed out by the management team, as well as the activity teams as well, to ensure that the goals of aiding the kids in English comprehension, also their interest in learning this subject, are fulfilled successfully. So therefore, we allocated the sufficient amount needed, as you can see from the slides, 80 ringgit for ice breaking, 80 ringgit for pasta parcel activity, 170 ringgit for crossword puzzle activity, 200 ringgit for treasure hunt, 400 ringgit for lunch, 20 ringgit for the kids' refreshments, as well as 450 ringgit for the hampers and gifts in our budgeting part. Next is our target group. So the target group in this program is the 53 of the Pacayas kids with the age range from 10 to 17 years old. So start moving. Okay, so we separate them into two groups, so which are the lower form for the primary school is age 10 to 12 years old, and the high school is age 13 to 17 years old in the upper form for our two different activities that will be elaborated later. So moving on, Nabil Hazim will be continuing the presentation to explain the need analysis that we identified prior to the execution of this program.
Thank you, Iza. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I am Nabil Hazim and I will be explaining on the need analysis that we have obtained for this program. To start, a need analysis was done on a total of 15 kids who represented their friends from the age of 15 to 17 years old. The management team provided a printed survey with various questions during the site visit in order to collect correct information on the orphans and to gauge their interest in participating in our program. Because if they aren't interested, the program's entire goal will be defeated. Additionally, to test their English proficiency, questions on grammar, spelling, and other topics were asked in hopes that we could get a vision on what activities are appropriate for them. So as you can see on the first slide over here, are you interested in learning English and participating in English-related activities was our first inquiry. Surprisingly, everyone who voted said yes, making the decision unanimous. None of the children cast a no vote. This percentage indicates that our program will likely receive a positive response from the kids who participate in it. Additionally, the second analysis rates the students' English proficiency using the following options. As you can see from the slides, 26.7% of the students chose bad, while the remaining of students chose average, bringing the overall percentage to 73.3%. All right. Now, moving along with the second slide, our poll of 15 children revealed that 66.7% of them have a fear of speaking English. Some of them are afraid of pronouncing word wrongly or afraid if their sentence structure is incorrect, which is fair because English is not everyone's mother tongue. On a scale of 1 to 5, we also asked the kids to rank their vocabulary proficiency. We discovered that 20% of the 15 children gave themselves good ratings, 33.3% gave themselves bad ratings, and for the average, it has the highest rating of 46.7%. These ratings indicate that we should introduce vocabulary-related games during the program to improve their vocabulary. Moving along with the next slide. All right. For the first pie chart, we gathered data on the English categories that these kids struggled the most, specifically from age 15 to 17. There are 5 categories, which are pronunciation, preposition, spelling, noun, and singular and plural verbs. We choose to stick to the basic English categories because we don't want to overwhelm the children. As you can see there, singular and plural verbs lead the data for category that the students struggled the most to answer. The majority of students scored very poorly on the exercise we gave them because they couldn't tell the difference between adding an S and deciding not to add an S. The second highest category is spelling and nouns. We gave them exercises in which they had to choose the correct spelling from a wide range of options, but not everyone got it right. For noun, we provided an activity consisting of a few sentences and asked the students to circle the word in each sentence. Most of them were confused about which parts are nouns. Therefore, they circled the incorrect answer. Preposition is the third. Those children lack understanding of proper usage of in, on, or at. Finally, pronunciation. In order to ensure that the words were offered to them were appropriate for their age level, we gave them a piece of paper with certain of words on it and asked them to pronounce them. The words we gave them to pronounce, for example, were visited, invited, and cheap. While some of them were mispronounced, the majority of them got them right. Based on the second pie chart, we can conclude that 66.7% of the children lack basic grammar, while only 33.3% knows basic grammar. All right, that concludes our need analysis. I will now turn the floor over to Iman Irdina. Oh, I'm sorry, Iza.
All right, so up next is the Gantt chart. So a Gantt chart from week 1 to 14 is prepared to forecast our project schedules and ensuring that everyone is able to keep track of the project development. So as you can see, we identified the need analysis, problem statement, including the brainstorming of other details for our program in the first 2 weeks before our idea pitching in week 3. So from week 4 to week 7, we carry out the following tasks: the preparation of the paperwork, the poster promotion, as well as the presentation progress. So week 8 is the date of the program execution, followed by the final report preparation and also the submission until week 14. So moving on is the tentative. So this is the tentative for our program that was planned in detail by the management team in accordance with the proper sequence of a formal event and also the suitability of the activities to be conducted in that specified time period. So our day starts off early in the morning at 7:30 a.m., where all of us are expected to have our breakfast, and by 8 a.m. we have arrived at Pakais, also done unloading everything from the bus. So while the PA system team sets up the equipments and other teams arranging the items, the kids will do their registration at the registration table to ensure that the total number of the participants that day tally with the number of kids they informed us beforehand. So the program commences with the dua recitation and the welcome speech from our project leader, Sofia Adlina. Continues with our first activity of the day, which is the ice-breaking session at 8:40 till 9:40 a.m. All right, so right after that, the leaders from the first 2 games, which are pass the parse activity and crossword puzzle, take over the next session at 9:40 a.m. by separating the kids into 2 groups, the lower form and also the upper form, in accordance with their comprehension level. So these 2 activities are conducted simultaneously within 2 hours and 20 minutes before the lunch break at 12 p.m. Okay, so as the program is on Friday, so the next few hours are reserved for the guys to perform their Friday prayers and the girls for Zuhur prayers. And just at 2 p.m., the program is carried on by the last activity of the day, which is treasure hunt, involving all 53 kids all together for the final games. So our program is wrapped up by the prize giving ceremony to the winners of each activities, and lastly, the photography session from 5 to 6 p.m. So that's all for the tentative part. Next, I'll be passing the presentation to the first group that kickstarts the program with the ice-breaking session presented by my teammate, Richmond King.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Richmond Keen, and I represent my group who were responsible of handling 2 activities during the event. The 2 activities are ice breaking and treasure hunt. Now, without further ado, let's get to the first event of the day. So ice breaking. First things first, we split the participants into several groups based on their age. Then they were chosen based on numbers from 1 until 6 for grouping purposes. Once that was done, they sat down in groups for an introduction session and also an election session for who to be the group leader. They were also given 10 minutes to discuss their group chants, which will be done for later activities. Here are the pictures of the participants during the ice-breaking session. And now I will be passing it to the next presenter from Group 2, Sofia Adlina.
Thank you, presenters. Assalamualaikum, hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Sofia Adlina. Today I'll be giving a brief explanation about my group's activity, which is the category game Pass the Parcel. This game is played by lower forms from the orphanage, which is within the age range of 10 to 14 years old, totaling 23 children. A little bit of rundown on our group's activity. In the game known as Pass the Parcel, each student is required to pick a random piece of paper upon written words chosen from a list of categories. The first round, consisting of guessing words, puts more of an emphasis on vocabulary, while the second round, filling in the blanks, focuses more on grammar. Next slide, please. So how does this game work? Each of the groups will be playing among themselves to determine one remaining representative into the final round. Each group will receive a box filled with strips of papers and must pass the box in a circle while music is playing. And whenever the music stops, the person holding the box must pick up a small piece of paper randomly and guess a word from the category given on the paper. Each participant is given a 10-second time limit for the guesses. If the person guesses the word correctly, they can move on to the next round. But if the person guesses the wrong answer, they'll be eliminated from the game. For the last round, winners will compete with each other by filling in the blanks of sentences with 3 options of answers given. Each participant is given a 20-second time limit for the guesses. Next slide, please. So here are a few pictures taken during the activity, from forming into groups, switching the locations, then continuing on to the first round. And before ending our game, we had the last round to reveal the winners. That is all from me. Thank you. I'll be passing on to the next presenter, Atin Farina, to give a brief introduction of our activity.
Alright, hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Nur Fatih Farina and it is an honor to be introducing the activity which my group had executed on the day of the event on the behalf of my other group members. Okay, next slide please. So the activity that we had handled consisted of 26 children in total within the age of 13 to 17 years old. Next slide. Next, okay, and the name of the activity is Crossword Puzzle Contest. So to briefly explain this game, each student from each group needs to be located at each station from A to F. They will be given a basket in which they need to pick out a number, and the number that they chose would be the question number and that they have to answer on the crossword. There are a total of 6 words on the crossword, hence the 6 stations. Once the first group member in station A finishes their word, they then need to pass the crossword to the member in the second station. It goes on like that until the last group member at the F station finishes the crossword in whole. Only after that, they need to go together as a group to the final station and paste their answer on a whiteboard, which contains a big empty crossword. After they have finished, then they will have to ring the bell prepared by us. The first group to finish and complete the crossword with the correct answers will be declared the winner. Next slide, please. Some further details are that there's no exactly time limit for this game and that we actually gathered the students for a pre-teaching before starting the game. We used a total of 3 songs which contain the vocabularies that are used in the crossword. There were also hints given by us, but the students had to go through a punishment which they had to pick up from a basket that contained a bunch of small papers full of various punishments. For example, amusing activities like spinning around 5 times, complimenting a girl in the room, or singing a song loudly. And there were 3 main prizes given out to the winners of first, second, and third places, and 2 consolation prizes for the rest. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so before I pass the presentation to the next person, these are some of the pictures taken during our activity. All right, so I'll pass the presentation to the next person.
All right, thank you, Fatin Farina. Now let's move on to the next activity, which is treasure hunt. Next slide. Okay, for treasure hunt, the participants had to complete 6 different checkpoints with different missions. One of them is the SVO game, where the participants need to arrange jumbled up words into 5 sentences in 1 minute. According to the subject, verb, and object rule. This is when accuracy is important. Next up is spelling bee, where the kids will have to spell certain words while chasing time. The next one is hot potato challenge, where the participants have to list down as many words related with the grammatical category given before the time runs out. Next is rhyming game, where participants have to match the words which rhyme with the given specific word. Next will be the hangman challenge. For this challenge, the group needs to figure out the word or phrase based on the blank spaces on the board before they lose their chance. Last but not least, the final challenge is charades. In this challenge, the participants will have to guess the actions acted by one of their members before time runs out. The winner of the challenge will be determined by which group was the fastest to reach the finish line and the group with the most points accumulated. Here are the pictures we have captured during the activity. And now I will be passing it to our next presenter, Sofia Adelina.
Thank you. We will head towards the postmortem for the program, starting with the limitations encountered by each team before, during, and after the execution of our program. Next slide, please. First, the management team faced some issues in obtaining the approval of the forms with UITM Academic Affairs to use for the program. Moreover, we got the last-minute notice from PKI's management regarding the changes of the total students who are going to participate in our program, as well as the budget reduction issue, where the Academic Affairs Management failed to approve full amount applied for the program. Moving on to the first activity, pass the parcel. First parcel issues were the lack of time given to answer questions, difficulty of answering questions within the short amount of time given, compared to how the answer should be said, which is in a full sentence. Other limitations will be discussed by the next presenter.
All right, thank you, Sophia. So the
Presenters, I would
second
like to remind you, you
limitation-
have 5 minutes left.
Okay. So thank you. So the second limitation that pass the parcel activity experience is that for the location part, originally the activity was to be played indoors, but last minute changes of plan occurred, so we decided to do outdoors instead. This is why we encountered problems locating the perfect spot since the weather on that day was rather sunny and also hot. And also we had issues with gifts due to miscommunication among group mates. So there was a misunderstanding occurred upon giving the gift to the first, second, and third place winners. We were confused as in we need to give it individually or as a group. Okay, so for crossword puzzle, the first limitation that we encountered during the big day is that the number of students suddenly changed from 31 to 26 students in total. And for gifts, initially we only prepared 6 gifts in total for each member in each group. So we did not have enough gifts due to the sudden change of number of students. So the next limitation will be presented by Richmond.
All right, thank you, Farina. So the third limitation for crossword puzzle is that we chose the wrong songs for the pre-teaching session. We expected the students to know the songs as they are quite well known, but apparently we misjudged their English music knowledge. This caused the mood to be quite down during that part. Moving on, next up is the limitations for treasure hunt. We have concluded that there are 3 limitations for this activity. The first one is that we had a sudden change of plans. This is due to the sudden change of in number of participants, which made us to scrap some plans which were originally on the list of things to do. The second one is that there was a clash of ideas and indecisiveness in discussions. And last but not least, it was the high cost of items. Some items that we needed for the activity were quite high in price, for instance, the whiteboard. Now let's move on with the next part of the presentation, the solutions for the limitations.
For the solutions, team management has discussed with the UITM Academic Affairs thoroughly and omitted any unnecessary plans for the program to get the approval. There's also been a change of plans for certain activities to cater the number of students who will be joining the program. We were also careful in planning our budgeting and were able to buy all the necessary things needed without going over the budget. For past the parcel activity, the solution is extending the time. While the game was still in operation, the time limit was added on. From the 5-second time limit, each participant is given 10 to 20 seconds to answer questions. I'll pass on to the next presenter, Farina.
All right. So the way we solved the location issue is that we changed the location to Assembly Square, which was dimmer than the court. And for the gifts issue, in result with discussing among group mates, we decided to buy additional gifts, 3 individual gifts with goodies for the rest of their group and goodies for 4th place. And for crossword puzzle, since we originally planned the game according to the number of the students that we were initially informed with, we had to come up with a new formation of groups for the students in the morning of the event. And to solve the gifts issue, we personally went out to buy an additional gift for one of the members of the group that won 2nd place for the game. All right, so I'll pass it to the next presenter.
All right, So moving on to the next solution for crossword puzzle is for the limitation of enthusiasm. To solve the problem with the enthusiasm of the students, we ask the students for a song of their choice that they would like to listen and sing along to. This lifted up the mood for the game. Now let's move on to the solutions for treasure hunt limitations. The first limitation was the sudden change of plans for the event. A solution we came up with was to have a brainstorming session where we gather as a group to discuss on how to split the groups. Next up, to solve the clash of ideas limitation, we did a physical meetup session to fully discuss and decide on what to do. And then last but not least, we searched for cheaper places to solve our issue on high costing of the items needed. That is all for me. Now I shall pass the presentation to the next presenter.
All right. So even though there were limitations and solutions, there were also strengths of the program. So the first strength, as you can see, is the ability to learn new things. We were able to learn new things that we have never learned before, such as how to efficiently plan for a program. Next is strengthening friendships. It has also strengthened our relationship with each other as we went through a roller coaster ride together in order to make our English program flourish. Next is apply more fun ways of learning. It is best to apply more fun ways of learning English based on the experience on the big day. It can be seen how students were eager to guess and get the word right in the crossword, which means that teaching them in the form of fun games can be done again in the future. And last but not least is effective and smooth communication with the participants. Throughout the event, there were effective and smooth communication with the participants of the orphanage, both in Malay and English. I'll pass it on now to Fatin Farina.
Okay, again, next slide, please. Next. Right. Oh,
All right, so these are the two feedbacks that we received from the PBI management. Yeah, we disseminated the Google form to the management and also the kids, and overall we got a very positive response for them. And that's the end of our presentation. I sincerely thank all of you for your attention and your presence today. And that is all. So I will hand this session back to the MC. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Isa, and the other presenters, sorry. Thank you for the very interesting project presentation. I hope the kids at PKAYIS benefited a lot from the Let's Blossom with English program. Now, without wasting any more time, we'd like to proceed with the Q&A session. If you have any questions, you may switch on your microphone or even write your questions in the chat box. Don't hesitate to ask away.
All right, so the first question is to answer that. So dealing with the parties mentioned before required us to change the style of our language from informal to formal. So we need to use the proper sentence structure to deliver like a clear message, the right tone, as well as emotions to other speaker in order for us to form an effective interactions. For example, we chatted with one of the PKI's officer before, we started off with the simple salutations such as Assalamualaikum and good morning, and then address them properly by their title like sir or madam, and then just give a brief introduction before of ourselves before we jump on to the objective of the phone call made to the management. And this experience, this indisputably teaches us to apply like the different language styles accordingly in our interactions with various people. So I hope that answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Isa, for answering the question. Is there any other questions that any of the audience would like to ask? You can ask away. Okay, I guess that's all the questions. Thank you to Isa for answering the question. And I hope those who have gotten the answer, those who asked have gotten the answer they're looking for. If you have any questions to ask the presenters, you may ask in the chat box. Now, we shall move on to our last presentation of the day, which is the presenters are from the UIN Alauddin Makassar. Presenters, a reminder to your group as well, you will have 30 minutes to present your idea. You may start your presentation now.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. First, I would like to say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that give us His blessing and mercies, because all of that we can all meet here in the Zoom meeting to attend this activity. Firstly, excellently to the head of English Education Department, Tarbiyah and teachers, training faculty UIN Alauddin Makassar, Prof. Dr. Haji Siti Nur Aziza, MED, HT, PhD. And second, excellency to the head of Academy of Language Studies, Universiti Teknologi Cawangan Johor, Malaysia, Puan Haryati Ahmad, and respectable to all lecturers and honorable to all present and participants that attend this meeting. Okay. Firstly, I would like to introduce our group. We're content about surface learning. The first, there are Asman Inaya, Nur Fadia Ramadhani, Arika Yuliza Yamin, Marheni, and the last is me, Muhammad Zakir Trensyah. Okay, for the next, the table of content, there is an introduction and the implementation of the surface learning. Okay, next slide. Okay, the surface learning as a method whereby participants learn and develop through active participation in thoughtfully coordinated through collaboration between the school and the community. We provide structured time for students to think, talk, and write about they did and saw during the activity. Provide a student with opportunities to use newly acquired academic skill and knowledge in real life situation in their own community to enhance what is taught in the school by extending student learning beyond the classroom and help foster development of sense caring for others. Okay, for the next speaker.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. The purpose of the service learning program at Rama-Rama to serve the community and at the same time to develop students' academic and social ability through assignments given by educators to be practiced in the community and mirrors the mission itself, that is to prepare each students to become a responsible, active citizen as form of implementing the method of TESOL learning for young learners. In addition, Ramang-Ramang is one of the tourist destinations in South Sulawesi. So not only teaching basic material, our goal is to conduct service learning there so that children in the area are accustomed to English and enable them to be able to converse with the visiting tourists. Okay, for the next slide, I'll give it to the next speakers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is the implementation of service learning. Okay, location of service learning. The service learning was carried out at Kampung Kars, Ramang-Ramang, Salandean, Kecamatan Bontoa, Maros Regency, South Sulawesi. Fun fact, Kampung Kars Ramang-Ramang is a landscape area in the form of rows of karst mountains or limestone mountains. The Kars Mountains in Ramang-Ramang are the second largest and most beautiful in the world after the Kars area in South China. Apart from the beauty of the mountain karst or limestone mountain, these karst mountains are not surrounded by beaches, but rivers and rice fields. There is also a boat that is used to go along the Puta River so that it becomes an attraction for tourists. Next slide, please. Okay, next is time of service learning. Service learning is held every Friday and Saturday for 2 months, from October to November 2022, start from Class B and continue by Class A. And teaching process begins when the student come home from school, namely at 4 to 5 p.m. Okay, the next speaker.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Marhaini. Let me start by giving you some information about people who carried out service learning. This service learning is carried out by students at the 5th semester of English Education Department, UIN Alauddin Makassar, Class A and B 2020. It consists of 33 from Class A and 31 from Class B. So totally is 64 students, and each class divided into 6 groups. Next slide, please. Okay, process implementation of service learning. Before we go to Ramang-Ramang, each group determines or make a lesson plan that will be carried out at Ramang-Ramang. In the lesson plan, there is arrangement of the activities and material that will be taught to the children there. As you can see on your screen, this is an example of enter and time. The structure consists of 3 items, that is opening, content, and closing. The first is opening. In opening, we are greetings and introduce ourselves to all of the students at Ramang-Ramang. The second is content. We start by singing together, because when we ask the student about what their feelings, like how are you, they will answer together by singing a song. The title of the song is Reverse Child. And we are reflection material from group 3 or previous group about feelings, and then we are present about give them a little bit games, and last we are provided the material about this and that demonstrative. The third is closing. We also do reflection material to ensure that they understand about the material that has been given, and we closing the learning process with praying together. Okay, moving on, please. Okay, still about process implementation of service learning. Each material is also tailored to their needs and the level of education of the children there. Each group that departs also determine the group responsible for giving evaluation to determine the level of understanding of student. Okay, that's it from me. We will give it to the next speaker.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. The next topic is we would like to discuss about the materials that was taught in Ramang-Ramang to the students. The materials divide into 11 materials, and the last we conducted test evaluation for the students. And the materials is from the basic materials, that is alphabet. We teach them about the alphabet, the days of a week and month of a year, feelings and number, how to introduce family's member, how to use this and that demonstrative, how to greetings and life-taking expression, about color, how to telling time, about weather and season, about quantifies, and how to use some, any, much, and a lot of. The next material is preposition of place, and the next material is such similar with the previous, like quantifies, but the difference in this group taught the students about how to use few and little, and the last we conducted test evaluation. But additional material that was taught to the students is about how to prepare themselves to be a tour guide, and we make them familiar with the question that that probably the tourism asks to them, and how to answer the tourism question, and how to introduce places to the tourism, like where is the Telaga Bidadari from here, how long has the Telaga Bidadari from here. We make them familiar with the question like that. And the next, that is the task result that was conducted at the end of the meeting. At the time, there are only 11 students who came into the Rumah Kedua, and the highest score get by the students is 96, and the lowest is 27. And the next about the impact of service learning to the students. So after carrying out the service learning activities, we saw the responses of the students at Ramang-Ramang during the service learning process. So we saw they were enthusiastic and eager to learn. Those with a different level of education, which are some of the students still in elementary school, some of them are in junior high school, and some of them are already in senior high school, and all of them learn at the same places, most often called as Rumah Kedua. Their high curiosity adds to our enthusiasm as a teacher to share our knowledge with them, and it can be seen from the positive response from the students as evidenced by the task conducted at the end of the meeting, where the result where the most of the students got good scores, while just a few of them got low scores, like what I was previously explained. The factors that influence this are students who get unsatisfactory scores, rarely attend at the class, because when the service learning is implemented or carried out, the weather is not very supportive. The heavy rains often occur in the afternoon, and we teach the students for about 4 till 5 p.m. And in the afternoon, the heavy rains is often occur, and it makes it difficult both from the students and also the teacher to come. But apart from this, the students' responses to the service learning activities, which lasted approximately 2 months, which were held twice in a week, were very enthusiastic and happy. And the impact that we can see from the student was very happy because they prepared themselves to be tour guide or just to be able to communicate with tourism and get new knowledge from us. And also the impact of the service learning, not only impact from the students, but also us as the teacher. The impact for us as the teachers, we as the students at English field not only want to learn the theory how to teach the students, but also in this occasion, this wonderful occasion, we get a wonderful opportunity to implement in the real life how to teach the students, and we get the describing how to teach the student in the real life, and it makes our self-confidence as the teacher increase, and also our public speaking ability and how to treat the students at the class directly increase. And some our documentation when implementing service learning. I'm sorry, it's not finished yet, because I want to share our short video documentary during the implementation of service learning. That's all our presentation from my group. Thank you for your beautiful eyes. I give it to the moderator, Leila Madina. Thank you.
Thank you to the five presenters earlier. I hope the kids at Kampung Kars Ramang benefited a lot from the 2 month service learning that your team has provided them. So ladies and gentlemen, now that we have heard the last presentation, let's have our very last Q&A session for today. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. You may switch on your microphone or even write your questions down in the chat box. All right, I guess there's no questions. If there is any, you may ask in the chat box. And I hope the presenters can answer your questions. All right, apologies on that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we have learned and gained a lot throughout this international seminar on community engagement ideas and practices from the respective presenters in both UIN Alauddin Makassar, as well as the UITM Johor campus. Personally, I am so proud of our achievements today and on Monday, and may success will always be upon us. Now, before we reach the end of our event of the day, I would like to invite Puan Dia Widiawati Ahmad, Head of Study Center, Academy of... Wait, sorry about that. Puan Widiawati Ahmad, lecturer in charge of LS 303 Community Engagement for Professional Development, to give his closing remark for our event of the day. Ms. Dia, the floor is yours.
My apology. I got this. Miss Siti Zari Sofia Abu Bakar, lecturers of UIN Alauddin Makassar, and also lecturers of UITM Cawangan Johor, and all students. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to everyone who First of all, I would like to send regards on behalf of our head of study center, Puan Haryati Ahmad. She actually joined us today, this morning. Earlier, she was here, but she had to leave earlier due to some other arrangements, and she extended her gratitude as well. And that's something that can be replicated by UITM Cawangan Johor as well. More about the service learning that we are doing here. So this service learning, ELS 303, is community engagement for professional development. It started in 2016 and it has been going on until now, and we can expect more Sulam projects in the future too. And this initiative actually focuses on providing students the opportunity to contribute their skills, their expertise, their knowledge, and the competency that they have developed throughout attending the diploma program, the LG 120 program. And this is they are going to use, this is like an outlet for them so that they can use their expertise to go to the community and solve the problems or the issues faced by the communities. So the intention is that we do not want university to be a distant, we don't want to be distant from the society. So the students and also the lecturers, we are going to go to the society and find out in what way can we solve their problems. So the previous projects that for ELS 303 also include period poverty awareness campaign, where the students did an awareness campaign to raise awareness regarding period poverty, which is a problem that is sadly still faced by some girls in Malaysia. And the other activities or projects also include adorable adoptables and also adopt, don't shop, okay, which I think is quite something that is well known as well. The animals instead of buying pets. Okay, so for the students, helped the institutions to promote the Adopt Don't Shop campaign. Okay, so more and more people choose to adopt pets, which are actually in which the students actually use their expertise and also the skills that they have developed in order to help drop shippers to enhance their their marketing skills. Okay, we are language. Our students are language students, but how do they use their skills to help these drop shippers who are actually who are mostly part-time workers and also single mothers trying to gain extra cash at home? Okay, so our students held an online seminar their social media in order to promote their products and whatnot. Okay, so it's a project that is beneficial for the society. So we can see that from the program, from Sulam program, we got the intention that I'm pretty sure after you're done with the project, you are now proud of what you have done for the society. I could see that when I look at how you react as you play the videos or the snippets from your projects. So you are all smiling and you feel, we can see that that is such a proud moment for you. Okay, so that is something, it warms the heart to see that. And it also shows that it's worthwhile. The blood, the sweat, and the tears shed for the project are all worthwhile. So hopefully the service learning programs or the service learning activities could be done more in the future. It's something that should your projects with us. It's something that both universities can learn. There are ideas that we can adopt and adapt to, and hopefully we get to hear more ideas from students from both universities in the future. So thank you very much again.
All right, thank you so much, Wandia Widiawati Ahmad, for the lovely speech. I would like to apologize on her behalf regarding the internet issue that lagged her speech, but I'm sure everyone gets an idea on what she was trying to convey. Now, I would like to invite our respective collaborator, Dr. Haji Marjuni, MPD, the Dean of Tarbiyah, and Teacher Training Faculty from UIN, Alauddin Makassar, to give his closing remarks. With all due respect, please welcome.
Halo, cek.
Ya,
Gitu aja.
bagus. Good.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, wa la haula wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to say many thanks for educational parents. Alhamdulillah pada kesempatan yang berbahagia ini kita bisa beraudiensi bersama-sama untuk senantiasa membangun komitmen dalam rangka mentransformasikan pendidikan ke depan. Tentu pada saat ini learn from yesterday, live for tomorrow, leader for tomorrow. I think ya. Jadi mungkin pada hari kemarin kita senantiasa belajar dan pada hari ini kita hidup bersama dan menjadi pemimpin di masa yang akan datang. Nah, pertama adalah profesionalitas itu harus kita bangun selaku kaum pembelajar. Nah, dari ketika berbicara tentang profesionalitas itu ada 3 hal yang senantiasa harus kita integrasikan dalam kehidupan. Pertama adalah knowledge, two skill and integrity. Jadi ada semacam sebuah pengetahuan, ada keterampilan, dan ada integritas. Karena sukses tidaknya seseorang itu ketika orang itu mampu melewati sebuah perubahan. Jadi tentu kita semua dalam proses pembelajaran, kita melakukan pendalaman materi, melakukan lokakarya. Setelah itu kita ber-PPR ber-KKN, dan orientasinya adalah to the people. Jadi untuk kehidupan bersama dan humanisme ya dalam kehidupan bermasyarakat. Jadi the organization reflecting instrument to use is power of intelligence. Jadi seorang intelektual itu senantiasa instrument to use is power of intelligence ya. Jadi senantiasa melakukan sharing-sharing informasi tentang bagaimana melakukan sinkronisasi dan integrasi paradigma keilmuan. Atas nama pimpinan Fakultas Tarbiyah dan Keguruan UIN Alauddin Makassar mengucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada kita semua. Dengan beberapa hari kita melakukan pengkajian dan kita menampilkan beberapa fitur-fitur pembelajaran di tengah kita sehingga kita bisa menjadikan ini sebagai pioner dalam melakukan tata kelola akademik di lingkungan kita masing-masing. Oleh sebab itu, atas nama pimpinan Fakultas Tarbiyah dan Keguruan UIN Alauddin Makassar, marilah kita bersama-sama menutup acara seminar internasional yang dilakukan oleh jurusan pendidikan bahasa Inggris Fakultas Tarbiyah dan Keguruan UIN Alauddin Makassar dengan bersama-sama baca hamdalah. Alhamdulillah. Sekian, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Dekan.
Yuk, kasih.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haji.
Ada juga Bu Serli ini, saya lihat ini. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Ya, Bro.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Haji Marjuni, for that beautiful speech. With that lovely speech, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's webinar. I would like to express a big thank you to everyone for making time to attend this event. To end this event with a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's end it with a recitation of Surah Al-As and Tasbih Kafarah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Mursida, you can get, I'm not sure about the link of recorded of the Zoom. I guess you can ask the organizer. Right, Amir Abal Alamin. Again, thank you for your cooperation and for having me as your MC for today's event. Now, before I let everyone go, let's have a photo taking session with all that are present here today to commemorate today's event. Can we get everyone to switch on their cameras?
Can you open the camera?
Can everybody switch on cameras? We'll just take a quick
Open
photo
all your
session.
camera.
Everybody's looking very pretty, very beautiful, very handsome. All right. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you for everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Now, before
Thank
you
you,
leave the meeting,
everyone.
be sure that you have filled in the attendance. Again, I would like to
Yeah.
apologize for any errors and mistakes
Have you
that I
filled
made today.
all the attendance list for the both presenters and the committee as well as the participants? And the certificate link with your attendance list.
Thank you, Prof. You will leave this meeting now. Thank you, everybody.
Dr. Aziza, the attendance link for the committee member is not working on at my end. Is it working at your end?
No, it's not. So,
Yeah, so I think there's a problem with the link.
Oh, the problem with the link. Pak Maskur, ada masalah dengan link. Link for the committee.
and the moderator.
Yeah, for the moderator as well. Like what Muhammad pointed out.
Maybe you can send after this.
Yeah, so if you were to share it with me, Dr. Aziza, I can share it with the other participants from UINAM Johor, because I think some of them have left.
Yes.
And so even my camera is also not working. I clicking
Yeah.
now. I couldn't join the photo taking session.
Well, Mr. Maskurov will fix it, inshallah.
Inshallah. So again, Puan Haryati extends her warmest regard for this collaboration, and she's very happy. In fact, there was a project that she's interested in doing in UiTM based on your students' project, especially from the first group from today. So just like what Puan Dia said, we are learning a lot from UIN, and we are very happy to have this collaborative session. Thank you very much.
Yes.
From UiTM Johor. Yeah, Dr. Aziza?
Yes, we also learn from UITM. We learn a lot. We learn a lot because my student also learn a lot from UITM.
It's good for the students to learn from each
Good
other.
for
As well
students.
as the lecturer, we can also get some ideas from your university. So next semester, when we do the same program, we can show them this video and tell them, okay, this could also be something that you might be interested in doing for your community engagement project.
Yes, we have 4 kind of community engagement with the student presence. That KKN, and KKN is community services, and also before is teaching practices in school, national and local and national, and also and the last today is community engagement was linked with the lecture, like the subject for teaching English for young learners, and also community services for what's that with the school, with the teachers. So this one the mendampingi guru.
Oh, mendampingi guru.
Yeah, pendampingan terhadap guru. English teacher. That's we did. Okay, yeah, that's very good. Good.
Yeah, it's like student pendamping guru is like a teaching buddy or a teaching assistant, isn't it? So you have them to assist you, is it?
No, this is for develop for teaching materials. No.
Teaching material for them to use.
But the teaching development, teaching material development. So what the teachers did in teaching, what material teacher use in teaching, we try to facilitate and to make them aware that this is about genders representation, gender awareness, that there is a bias in English material for gender genders.
Kenapa kita terlambat?
So that was the first presentation. Was it the one that I missed because I went for the observation, the gender representation?
Yes, in the teaching material in textbook.
But you are going to share the recording with us later, right? So that I can actually view them
I
later.
will, maybe we can make it in the YouTube first. Yeah, I will give to the secretary or maybe.
Yeah, and I will share it with our students here so that they can view it over at YouTube.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
I will give, maybe Masker will do it, Mr. Masker Rauf.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
So I have to get going because I told you I have an assessment to conduct after this. But again, on behalf of UITM Johor, for the last time for today, I would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation for this collaborative work. And we hope to have future collaborations with UIN in 2023 and 2024 until whenever. So inshallah, everything will run smoothly like what we planned. And we look forward to meeting all of you, whether online or physically next year, inshallah. And so with that, I would like to say Assalamualaikum and thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you for everybody.
Welcome.
We do too. Okay, we can leave.